Good morning, fellow Plexers. Today I'm going to try to help out Keesjan in one of the Plex groups to see if we can figure out what's going on. He upgraded to the latest version of Plex server, and more than half his TV series that were previously scanned in were no longer matched up, and downgrading to the previous version seemed to fix that. So instead of trying to ask a series of questions and go back and forth, I thought I'd just do this little video for him, and it can be a primer for anyone else new to Plex. So one of his series that came unmatched was Modern Family, and you see I have it here. All I know so far is I know he's named his first episode Modern Family /SO1EO1.mkv. But I don't know his folder structure. So the series name in the file name of the episode needs to match the series name that you're using as your folder. And then of course it should be in a season folder labeled Season 01. A lot of people just use Season 1, but every written example Plex gives is Season 01. And now I've used FileBot to add media characteristics to my file names, so it also adds the proper episode name. And Plex has instructed us to put extra information into brackets for an episode name, and anything inside the brackets isn't looked at by Plex's series scanner. So I've added that to my FileBot expression. But FileBot now has some default expressions, and because I have my own loaded, I have to hold down the Shift key before I click into this area to see them. So I can pick organized episodes for Plex, which everybody will have just by installing FileBot. And if I do that, it needs to confirm that I'm looking at the right series. And this expression creates folder structure. Now I don't want to run this because I don't have my TV series in a folder called Media. My show or my Plex share is just called Plex, and then I have a TV sort library folder, and then my main series are in another TV folder before you get to any of this. But you'll see that this expression adds the TMDB database number automatically to help with matching. Now if I ran my default expression, you'll see that it would rename this series where it already is in my Plex share, and then there's my TV sort folder, and then my actual TV library folder. I also have a kid TV library folder in that main sort folder, and then yada yada yada. But it's automatically adding the year to the series, and then the Season 01, and then the rest of everything else that's needed to be added. The proper file name, which we'll slide over to see. And excuse this, FileBot does not handle the scaling under Linux properly. So even though everything else is easily readable, FileBot isn't. You almost need magnifiers. But so my custom expression adds the media characteristics, and then it also identifies English subtitles if they're embedded in the file. But all that really doesn't matter as long as you match the basic naming conventions, which would be matching this series to either TMDB or TVDB. At TVDB, it's simply listed as Modern Family. And I could put the TVDB database number into the episode file name if I wanted, or the TMDB. I haven't found that's necessary for most shows, but I'm using a new expression for any new shows I add, so the new shows get it, the old ones don't. So, but Keesjan, I need to, and forgive me if I've pronounced your name wrong. What I need to verify is the rest of the structure. I need to know the folder name, and I need to know the season name, how you've named it. But let's bring in my Plex server. This is the Plex Player app. It opened off screen. It is the same as using the web client or the direct IP address. So I want to change to my TV show library. And I want to go into the settings, manage library, edit. And I'd like to see how you've got things set up there. Under advanced, are you using the Plex TV Series for both scanner and agent? Now this is all default. This is what you'd see if you created a brand new TV show library today. The only change I make is I pull episode ordering from the TV DB instead of the default, the movie database. And the reason I do that is I think they handle specials better at the TV DB. Sometimes the databases are an exact match for each other with special episodes, but not always. And if there's going to be more special episodes available to go out and search and find and put in your collection, I think you'll do better with the TV database being set just to pull episode ordering. Most people don't realize that Plex keeps their own cache of these two databases in a secret sauce way to use as their Plex TV Series scanner and agent. I don't know how it breaks down, how it works, but if you ever add a brand new TV show and the episode name doesn't get released until the moment it's aired, and you get that 6, 8, 10, 12 hours later on your server, you won't see any metadata for it yet. You won't see a description of the episode, and you won't see an episode name, and you may see it named TBA for to be announced because that's how it was listed at the TV database. Well, Plex will grab metadata later on, so in a day or two, with just a normal Plex metadata refresh that it does on its own, it'll bring that extra metadata in. And you'll just see some shows work like that. So I'd like you to compare your settings to mine, and I'd also like to know your full structure. And that full structure didn't come through in a screenshot. I suspect that you may be using older non-standard library settings, and if we go into settings and we go to the right, manage libraries, you can get to the settings this way too. So if I slide over to edit library, you can get to them this way, and from this area you can also go up to agents, and for shows I'll show you what everything looks like by default. So click on shows, click on personal media shows, and you should have personal media that you can't uncheck above local media assets. Click on the TV DB, and this is the default ordering for how things are checked and listed. Pause the screen if you need to. And then for the movie database, these are the default options. So I would set your library back to default options as if a new library was just created, and then see how things scan under the latest Plex update, while also making sure that your library structure matches what Plex describes. And that's where we'll end the video. Let's see. I know I've got this someplace. I have a Chrome app for a lot of support articles. So Plex, if you don't want to read, Plex gives you written examples, and just follow their written examples. Doctor Who, Plex suggests always putting the year in. It's actually not necessary. And they're showing the TV database number here. If you follow this convention, Grey's Anatomy with a year, season 01 or season 00, whatever you used here for the show folder, use again for your first part of the series episode name. Space dash space is the official Plex separator. S01, E01, the S and the E can be capitalized or lowercase, and then anything after that should have its own separator, and they do talk about someplace here putting extra information into brackets to have it hidden from the Plex scanner. Like right here, if you want to label this is a 1080p Blu-ray rip, it should be in the brackets. So again, we have the Band of Brothers folder, or the Band of Brothers 2001 folder, and then that's used for the first part of the episode name, space dash space, the season episode code, space dash space, the proper episode name, and then extra information in brackets. So these are can't miss file names, and FileBot can help you get it there. And now FileBot has its own expressions to use that create structure too. So like you could create structure on your computer and just have a default media folder, and FileBot will send everything there, and then once it's all structured properly, then you can cut and paste it to your local storage or to your NAS storage. Alright, thanks for watching, and I hope this is helpful to the one individual.